Good morning, everybody. Morning. My name is Councillor Williams, and I am the chairman of the Licensing and Subcommittee. The other members are Councillor Richard Downmore, Councillor Roger Cook. The committee's legal advisor is Sally Howley. Very much. Before we start, I'm really present, make sure those who talk their mobile. The purpose of today's hearing is to consider an application for review of a premises license, one of the Licensing Act 2003. Purchased in respect of the premises as Crafty Casks, Eastwood Road, Rayleigh. This could the applicant represent or representative introduce themselves.
Councillor Andrew Cross, with you.
Councillors like to introduce themselves.
Good morning, I'm Steve Greener, I'm the Principal Licensing Officer for Rochester Division.
Do you have any witnesses that you wish to call?
No.
Please could the responsible authority introduce themselves.
Any responsible authority present?
Parties received the agenda and report for today's hearing. Oh, I do. Sorry.
Owner of Crafty Casks.
I'm John Smith, I'm the licence holder for Excellent, thank you. Do you have any witnesses that you wish to know? I don't. Parties received the agenda and report for today's hearing. Set out the procedural note, item 3 on the agenda. Please, all parties be reminded that each have 15 minutes to present their case. So, did we summarise the application?
Yes, good morning. I was just pretty separated from my colleagues who've got some of the procedural notes and documentation. So, this is a review of the premises licence application under Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003 for Crafty Casks in Eastwood Road, Rayleigh. The application is for the following licensing objective, which is the prevention of public nuisance, which is namely the live music. The application is for a review of premises licence and was submitted to the local authority by Mr. Burgess on the 31st of October 2023. And again, as was stated, relates to Crafty Casks. Appendix A of the documentation in the submission is a copy of the application for the review. A bit of background information. The premises to which this application relates is a micro pub situation on the junction of Webster's Way and Eastwood Road. John Smith, who is present here, has held the licence with Rochester District Council on this current licence in 2022. And a copy of the licence, the correct licence, has been submitted and is reference number RDC 22000539 LAPRE. And again, has been passed to yourselves as part of the evidence funded. Prior to that, the venue did hold a licence in 2019 under a different licence number, the 19-2015 LAPRE, in places 2019 to 2022. However, that licence was then surrendered when this new licence was then introduced. The current licence benefits from what is known as the Live Music Act and the Live Music Deregulation. The Live Music Act came into force on the 1st of October 2022 and deregulates live music. So, as in the report, what is the Live Music Act of 2022? The Act allows the licensing requirements for live and recorded music to take place where there is a premises licence or a club certificate in place permitting on sales of alcohol. The premises are open for the sale of alcohol for consumption on the premises, and live and recorded music can take place between 8 AM and 11 PM. If the music is amplified, live music or recorded music, such as DJs or discos, for example, the audience has to consist of less than 500 people. The licence doesn't include any sort of regulated entertainment around live music between 8 AM and 11 PM on the license, as it benefits from the Live Music Act. Hence the reason why there is no conditions that are currently attached in relation to the live or recorded music during that time period. But the Act does say there are a number of mechanisms to protect the residents, and these are: upon a review of a premises license, the licensing authority can determine that existing conditions on the premises license relating to live or recorded music will apply even between 8 AM and 11. Or if the premises license doesn't presently authorise live or recorded music, the licensing authority can determine that live or recorded music at the premises can no longer be provided without permission on the premises license, thus requiring a variation of the license, or via a temporary event notice, and can add new conditions to the premises license. Obviously, there are still other legislation that is in place around the Environmental Protection Act of 1990, and this will continue to apply. The Live Music Act does not allow licensed premises to cause a noise nuisance. In relation to representations, as I've already said, a copy of the review application was circulated to all the responsible authorities on the 31st of October 2023, advertised on the council's website, and a copy of the notice was placed on the window of the Rochester Council offices at South Street in accordance with the regulation. The application was for a full review and advertised on the 31st of October 2023, inviting representations by the deadline of the 28th of November 2023. Blue notices were placed on the outside of 33 Eastwood Road on the actual premises, and I can confirm that we took photographs of them in situ to ensure compliance. In relation to responsible authorities, neither Essex Police, Rochester District Council licensing team, nor Rochester District Council's Environmental Health team have supported this review. No other representations were received during the consultation period. Under the legal implications, when determining the review of a premises licence, the committee must have regards to the promotion of the licensing objectives. These are prevention of crime disorder, public safety, prevention of public nuisance, and protection of children from harm. In relation to notices, all parties involved have been served with the relevant notices in accordance with paragraph 6 and 7 of the Licensing Act 2003 hearing regulations of 2005. The notices and documentation including the explanation of the rights of persons to attend the hearing and to be represented and give evidence, for witnesses, the consequences of not attending, the procedure to be followed at the hearing, and for the applicants only a copy of all the relevant representation made. Paragraph 8 and 9 of the regulations require that parties notify the licensing authority no later than 5 working days before the hearing of those matters mentioned above, and a pro forma was sent out to all those parties involved, which I have again got copies of those completed notices. And jump down to options for the committee under paragraph 11. The following options are available to the members. They can modify the conditions to such an extent as members consider it necessary for the promotion of the licensing objective, mandatory conditions that must be included, to exclude from the scope of the licence any licensable activities to which this review application relates, to remove the designated premises supervisor, to suspend the licence for a period not exceeding 3 months, to revoke the licence, or the last option is to leave the licence in its present state. Under, again, the regulations, paragraph 11 to 13 of the hearing regulations 2005, the committee can adjourn the hearing to a specific date and to arrange for the hearing to be held on specific additional dates where the members consider it to be necessary for the consideration of any representations or notices made by the party. That is the summary of the background information.
Members of the committee, do you have any questions for the applicant? Please provide for the applicant. Please provide the submission.
Do you want to ask the residents to their case first, and then we're asked also for the venue to respond?
Basically, I found the 515, and Coldman. Basically, for me, having music, don't want to buy players or anything like that.
The only issue is farming.
Was under there with the other section. Really doing that. Stop the section. And boys and
Yeah.
I think
At
it's
the moment,
yeah, present.
so that's it. On the bus. If he's a problem with no one, he's a fire worker. Basically, what and against the ball, having the shut down. Not easy for us. Whatever you want to do, it's on twelve.
Well, I visited, just his flat and, it seems to be, a case, not the volume coming up through the floor, but the stairwell seems to conduct the sound from below, through the floors, and so just, quite clearly, as he's, stated, when it's happening, he's, turn his own music up to drown it, which is really satisfactory. I think he's also noticed some drinkers taking their glasses or bottles outside, which is against the license. So I think safeguards should be put in place so that bottles and glasses aren't taken outside when customers go out for smoke. But yeah, I sympathise. I know Mr. Smith has put in sound suppressing measures, but he's done everything he can to mitigate the actual sound transmitted. But this seems to be a particular problem with it being conducted up a stairwell, and I don't think there's anything you can do about that other than stop the music, suppress the music at source. So. I certainly don't want to see parking cars closed because I think it's a useful addition to the, it's a well established and used bar, and it's great for the people that use it. So certainly wouldn't want to see it closed down, but some limitation of the music volume would, especially unamplified music, is the main issue here.
Members have any questions?
Have we got any actual data? Have you got any monitored noise levels?
You just have to take it.
Some from the other moment, thank you. So then we should ask the applicant to.
I just want to ask whether,
Sorry, do you?
the owner's got any questions.
Not at this stage. If you could put your face in, please.
Okay, I'm sure Mr. Burgess is quite sincere when he asserts that the sound coming from the podcast is reasonable. However, what's unreasonable is a matter of perception. Well, we wish to have a sound level suitable for our music and our customers. Burgess is about it quieter. In this situation, I think it's necessary for a disinterested party to decide on the level that respects Burgess's right to a reasonable quality of life while still allowing us to conduct our business. I feel that this matter was dealt with some time ago. We had complaints about the sound levels from another neighbour, and we were required to install a sound limiter set to a level agreed by Rochford Environmental Health. We worked very closely with Environmental Health while they conducted thorough and professional investigation. After a number of visits from them, they agreed that the sound level should be limited to 85 decibels. To give this figure some context, it's the same level required by the legislation for all venues during the COVID pandemic. This level was chosen so that people did not have to speak loudly in order to be heard. So that gives you some idea of the volume in the bar. We don't have rock bands or play heavy metal music in the bar. On Friday evenings, we usually have a single musician with an acoustic guitar. Occasionally, we may have a duo. All our artists play their own instruments. We do not have singers that use backing tracks. All our singers are almost always local talent. On Sunday afternoons, we will usually have another singer with a guitar. Sunday evenings, we have an open mic session where local artists are free to show off their talent. These are not karaoke sessions. The artists play their own instruments or are accompanied by the open mic host. Appearing at Crafty Cast is the first step on the ladder for many of the musicians. A number of them have gone on to paid engagements. I do take the point about the saxophonist. He's a very well-known musician who plays for Madness, hence some of the Madness tracks he does. And yes, it is. The saxophone is quite loud, and we would be happy to stop that. But he brought down some other famous musicians to act as a duo with him. And it would be sad if he couldn't play there anymore, but I do take the point that saxophone is uncontrolled because it doesn't go through our sound routing system. Mr. Burgess lives on the second floor. He says that the sound travels up the stairwell walls, rather than through the floors. The same stairwell walls also serve the flats on the first floor. So the walls go up the stairwell, past the first floor, and then up to Mr. Burgess's flat. The stairwell does not extend to the second floor. We've had no complaints from any of the flats on the first floor. I don't believe Mr. Burgess has offered any evidence to support his application. None of Mr. Burgess's neighbours have made representation in support of his application, and none of the relevant authorities, after having reviewed the application, have chosen to support the application. I believe that the absence of support from Rochford Environmental Health is particularly significant. Environmental Health have worked tirelessly to determine a sound level that works for all parties, and I feel that their judgment should be respected. I ask that the application is rejected and the licence is not supported.
Thank you very much. Robert, do you have any questions?
Yes, so what measures have you got in your actual premises? So what soundproofing?
We've soundproofed the wall to the stairwell, and we have sound absorbing tiles on the walls and ceilings, although this is more to do with the acoustics, stop sound reverberating. But does help. The tiles are not there for soundproofing, but the wall is separately soundproof with multiple layers of sound deadening materials and high density plasterboard. So we've also taken some additional methods, additional measures to ensure that the bench pipes going up through the building are insulated as well.
Has the landlord, the freeholder of the whole building, done anything that helps?
We've done this ourselves.
May I just clarify on that? Is it something you did without consultation with a sound installation company, or did you?
No, we engaged some sound consultants who came down to do a survey. Did ask for access to the flat, but Mr. Burgess wasn't cooperate or be disturbed. But he asked if it was necessary, if he had to allow access. He was advised that he didn't have to allow access to consultants if he didn't have to.
Do you have any reports?
I do, but I don't have them now. I can provide them.
Sorry, Commissioner, to interrupt. It was a acoustic engineer that came down to do the assessment, an independent assessment of the noise that was brought in following the initial sort of complaints, and then worked with environmental health to then look at the measures that need to be put in place. And then they did a follow-up survey again, quite technical, with specifics around how the sound has travelled. But obviously our environmental health team have got a copy of those reports, that they were satisfied with the measures that have been put in place to address the noise.
And was that a report done on behalf of mental health, the Rochester District Council?
That was at the request of Rochester District Council Environmental Health Team, to see the initial report and then to do a follow-up report after measures have been put in place.
Any entrances to the corridors from Parker Cars, or are you isolated from?
There is no way of entering Parker Cars in the corridors of the flat. They have a separate entrance from the street. But the stairwell also doesn't go into Burgess's flat. Burgess separate entrance at the rear of the building. It goes up the outside of the building.
There's no fire escape in that area or anything like that. From separate.
Yes, there's no connection at all.
Have you had any complaints from the immediate flat immediately above it?
No, there's two flats above it.
What, between you and?
Yes.
In the summer, do you have windows, doors open?
We never have the doors open when loud music is on. And we normally have the front door open until 7 p.m.
So when loud music is on, you close the doors?
Yes.
What about, do you have air conditioning?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What I need to ask at the moment. I'm not sure if you know it.
We'll see the resident can then ask questions.
I would like to say that they're saying just me complaining. Oh, I know.
Sorry, there's a bit right at the very end where you can summarise, and then you can Just summarise your application and
It's just a
at the end,
question.
if the question, sorry. Jason.
Yeah,
Has there been is the ducting for the air conditioning, does that go anywhere near, Mr. Burgess' point? Where does that exit?
No.
building?
It doesn't exist.
it's not a ducted system.
Yes, it's a ducted system, but it uses two heat exchangers. Sorry, two sets of heat exchangers. One set is contained within the building, and then just the refrigerant is pumped to the outside, which goes to another heat exchanger. So there is no ducting that goes from inside the building to outside the building.
Got no ventilation shaft to go up the outside of the building.
No, we have a heat recovery system that has vents going to the front of the building, but it's totally silent when it's on. I guess when the pub's empty and that's the only time it's on, maybe you can hear it.
Not sure. I don't think really like it. Either party have any closing statements?
If you want to sum up and then also you can then respond to any sort of comments that have been said, this is sort of a closing statement. Right, there's nothing else you want to say just before the meeting closes?
Question.
And Jane can now respond to those.
Okay, you said that it's only. And young girl Ellie, back in the room, when he wanted us to sound text done. She didn't want to. But she why now she doesn't hear it.
Just don't understand the point you're trying to clarify.
I'm not sure that's
Well,
relevant.
you said it's just me, right? You're not getting back up to me, I'm not getting it back up to anyone else. I lost my two neighbours, blatantly come up to see you. Over years, I come out and spoke to you myself. And you had a private
I think
car.
we need to stick to the facts really. I mean, it's not other people and relevant. So it's just really if you have any statements you'd like to make. You have any statements that you'd like.
I take the point about the this is something I was concerned about because the volume of it is quite loud, and because it's an acoustic instrument, it doesn't go through the sound system and I can't control it. So I'm quite happy to have a chat with our customer, say thank you, but please don't bring your saxophones to the bar anymore.
How often does that occur?
He's probably played there about 3 times.
Over what period?
To be open.
Did you do sound of sensing issues taken up the installation? Is that since then? Or you've put more in place since then?
No.
Put in place before.
Yes.
Exploring.
And I believe Stephen Green has heard that as well.
Yes.
Quite loud. But louder than the amplified music.
Okay. So that's not a general national occasion.
Yes, I would say no more than 3 or 4 times over.
You know, if there is nothing other at the moment. I will during the meeting. And we will consider the application. Thank you very much.
We'll go in the other room opposite and we will wait, and I'll wait for, confirmation for us to come back in to obviously hear the
Right, thank you very much. We have come to a decision. Going to ask us to read out the text. If that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. An application for review of a premises license, the licensing authority by Burgess on the 31st of October 2023, and referred to the premises being a property park. The application was submitted to unreasonable noise made under the potential of public use. During the course of the hearing, from the licensing officer, who confirmed he was neutral to the application. We heard from Mr. Burgess, who explained that the noise was loud in his flat and came through into the stairwell. It said that he had no other issues with the bar, and that it was just volume of. Mickey heard from the respondent regarding the business and the manner in which it was being run. He heard the steps that had been in place, which included soundproofing and limited sound. Further heard that there had been cooperation with environmental health, who was satisfied with the steps that had been undertaken. Further to this, the committee noted that the respondent would speak to the saxophonist regarding the volume and limit playing there, that this was one of the main causes of the complaint, that it did not go through the amplifier and therefore passed the limit. Subcommittee make it clear that they consider this application licensing objective. Subcommittee resolved to leave the license in its present state, making its decision. The subcommittee considers the council's own licensing guidance and statement of policy as statutory guidance. Please note that any license is always subject to review. Anyone affected by this decision has the right to appeal to the magistrate's court within 21 days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you for attending. And I think that concludes the.
It does. I'll go back into one and then the Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.